recording this, it is the first day of summer.
And Father's Day.
And Father's Day.
So, yeah, that's our up today. Also, welcome back. I just am like forgetting to introduce us.
Yeah, it's okay.
I get distracted. But anyway, welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Happy summer. Happy Father's Day.
Yay.
Yay for dads. I was just telling Erica that for this episode, we are doing a Father's Day episode that I didn't even tell my dad that we were doing an episode on him. So I think I might just see what happens and then say you can tune in and then tell him what I was doing.
Well, hopefully it goes well because I told my dad. I said this was for a podcast.
No, we'll be good.
But I don't think he usually listens, so I'm sure, though, he'll tune in for this.
Of course.
Since I just said we were doing it.
Yeah. He's going to be like, no, I need to know. I just, like, can't even imagine, like, either of our dads, like, typing in, like, polite as fuck. Like, it's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love it.
Dads are funny.
Oh man, well, we both sent our dad some questions that you came up with, and I really I enjoyed these questions. And then even today when I was talking to my dad on the phone for Father's Day, I just was like asking some follow-up, like trying to just like get like other little like nuggets and stuff. And I said like at the end of the call, because he was like, okay, bye. Like, what the fuck is this for? Again, because I didn't tell him.
Father's Day interview.
Yeah, but I was just like, I just find it really interesting. Like, you forget that your kids, that your dad was a kid too, or like your parents were kids too.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I know.
Let's
it
dive
is
in.
really. What's the word I'm looking for? We've talked about this before, but like the older you get, the more you realize how much you don't know about things, and just like.
Oh, sorry.
A Father's Day video.
And, yeah, because this isn't enough.
I don't know. I think sometimes I like forget exactly to your point of like, oh yeah, you weren't just suddenly over 30 years old and had your life together. Because that's just what you think of when you think of your parents, that they have just always been a parent.
Yeah.
But it's also their first time living life too. So they had some experiences.
Yeah. And just like, I don't know. It's just so different for dads. I think like I can relate, but only to a certain extent, where it's like when I learn about my mom, like if these 5 questions were to my mom and like, well, one, I feel like I wouldn't text them. I probably would have called. This episode would be like an hour long because of just like the stories and like the depth, and just also like how much I relate to that, or I can like put myself in her shoes and like blah blah blah. And like, not that I can't do that with my dad, but sometimes it's just like, okay, so like how did that make you feel? And he's like, I don't know. Like one of these questions we'll get to, I was like, so what did you guys talk about? And he's like, nothing, we were silent. And I'm like, all right, here we go.
So never mind.
Yeah.
All right. But the first question is about their childhood. It's, what did you love to do as a kid? Do you want to share what your dad said?
Sure. My dad said, word for word, play with my sister's fort at our house. And I feel like this is a very common childhood memory. But when you have siblings, like, a fort is different every single time you do a fort. You know, like the conversations, the jokes, the way that you do it, the way that, you know, like all sorts of things like that. So I can just like picture him and my aunts just all fucking around, like destroying the house, and my grandmother getting so like, what the fuck are you guys doing? But also like, keep going and stop. Like, don't
keep entertaining each other.
Entertaining each other.
As long as no one's injured or crying.
Yeah, and it also is just like, damn, that was like one of my favorite activities growing up with my siblings. Like, like not even the age gap or whatever, we would just all be able to like play fort at the house.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Is your dad the oldest?
He is the middle, so it's
Okay.
Thule and then him. He's
I
like
think
the
my dad's,
oldest
like,
middle.
I think that's my dad too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad. I know
But first and only boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So straight to his head.
Yeah.
No,
The ego.
just kidding. Okay.
I know my dad had an older brother and a younger brother, and I think his sister is younger than him. So I think he's the oldest middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But my dad also said, getting into mischief with his siblings, especially his younger brother, he liked playing with Matchbox cars and Toy Army soldiers, which fast forward, joined the military, loves working on cars, so it checks out. Playing outside as much as possible, visiting family, mostly those in Utah, and spending time with family.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
feel
really
like
in depth. I love that.
this is why I
Not the
emailed
toys.
because
Oh, okay.
I knew if I texted, I would not get as in depth as the email response.
That's true. That's true. That's why I had to call to like verify some more questions.
Yeah. But I think what's cool is like for both of our dads, family is a big thing, and I feel like that's carried into our lives, like the
Fully.
importance of family.
Yeah. What's a Matchbox car?
I think it's like the little like Hot Wheels. I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Like they're like, or maybe they're smaller, like they're the size of a matchbox. They're like a Hot Wheel but small.
Yeah. I don't know why I was like, oh, my first thought, I'm so stupid, was like, oh, it's like, you know, when you, back in the day when you would get cereal, there would be like a thing. I'm like, oh, well, when you open up a Matchbox, there'll be a
there's also a car.
That car has to be about this big.
That
like,
would
that's
be crazy.
that can't be right.
That would be really funny. I feel like you should start that.
Oh my god.
Just
Like,
literally
try
a
to find-
Matchbox car.
Yeah, a little Matchbox car. No, I love that toy. Yeah, that's funny that he's playing with little army soldiers.
Yeah, I'm like, did anyone watching Toy Story? I remember being like, does anyone even play with the little green army soldiers? Apparently, my dad did.
I guess so. Someone did. Oh, I love that. Okay, the next one was, what do you remember most about your teenage years? This is interesting. Do you feel like, before I give my dad's answer, do you feel like you have good memory? Like you yourself have good memory?
I think I have a very like selective memory.
Yeah.
And I can be reminded of things. If someone like starts telling a story or something, I'm like, oh yeah, I was there. Or like that
Like
happened.
it kind of like comes to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't feel like I remember details of a lot of things. Like in general, I know I did certain things.
Yeah.
But I really have to like focus in or like have someone else who was there help remind me what was happening.
Same. The reason why I ask is because I feel like when I get asked like certain questions about my past, I feel like the memories that come up are just the memories of the story that I've retold over and over and over and over again. So like, not that these questions are directed to me, but that's kind of like what I was thinking about when asking my dad these questions of just like, even if this isn't the like what did you love, even if that's not the most loved or like the most remembered or cherished memory or blah blah blah, it's like this is just like something that plays in your head, not constantly, but where you gravitate towards when you think about that. So I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Also, sorry.
No, what?
It's just so funny. Can we just talk about how dads text? Because the fact that Ellie asked him these questions and he just said, okay.
Yeah, literally one. And I think that there is a space between like the starting of the letter and after, so it really is just like in bold K.
Oh, it's so good.
It's funny
So
though because
good.
it's like I see that and I'm like, whatever. A man would do that to me and I'd
yeah.
be like, you bop bop.
Screw this guy.
Or if my mom said K, I'd be like,
Yeah.
she hates me. Something happened.
We're fighting.
We're fighting. What's going on? No. Anyway, okay, so the question is, what do you remember most about your teenage years? And my dad said, helping my mom and working with my dad. That was the full sentence. But then when I talked to him today, I asked him, like, when you say working with your dad, what do you mean? And he was like, well, I'm like, we would wake up early and whatever jobs he would be doing, I would just go, like, with him. Like, go to the construction, like, go to all of these things. And then same, he said that his mom, my grandmother, would do the newspapers either late at night or early in the morning. And so he would do that with her. And that's when I asked, I was like, what did you guys talk about? What did you guys, like, listen to? Like, what were you guys doing? And he goes, well, with my dad, we were just working, so nothing. And then with my mom, we would like listen to music. And I'm like, okay, descriptive. What did you listen to? What were you doing? But I can picture it. It also
that's
just
so
like,
sweet.
it is really sweet. And it is very like, I think, I forget, I don't know, I don't want to get, already like emotional. But it is like, it is really beautiful just how my dad took how he, and honestly all of my, all of the like older sibs, like the aunts and stuff, took how they grew up and have really just like grown and done something beautiful. And like my grandparents gave them the best life that they could, and I fully feel like they just took that and ran with it and made the best lives for like us kids, like the next generation, like me and my cousins and things. Because I'm like, my dad never had to take me to work because there was nothing to do, or like needed extra hands to like help money, like make money. Like I remember my parents having one job each, and that was it. Whereas like my grandparents had 3 to 4 jobs just to get like through, and also because that was necessary, and there was no like rest, like weekends where they're still doing construction, like they were nighttime or morning was like they were doing housekeeping or doing the newspapers. It was like never ending, and it's just so interesting to remember how he grew up, and like that is what you remember about your teenage years. Like my fucking selfish ass would be like, I remember, I don't even, like whatever, not this, and that's really wholesome and beautiful, and probably really fucking hard at the time, but also really beautiful. I mean, you don't know anything else. So.
Yeah. It definitely just like humanizes and makes you really thankful for the life that they gave you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
My dad said he remembers playing numerous sports, especially football, basketball, and baseball, adventures around Reno and Sparks with his younger brother and a neighborhood friend or two, a lot of Boy Scout campouts, activities, adventures, family vacations, church attendance, activities and service projects, home projects with my parents, and learning about taking care of vehicles, bikes, lawnmower, etc.
That's so cool, though. What a boy thing to do.
I know. It also is just like, I obviously was not a Boy Scout, and I did not grow up in Reno or Sparks necessarily. But I appreciate growing up in a place where both of my parents did. Like, that's a cool experience that I got to have. And them taking us, like, my dad, like, teaching us things about camping and teaching us things, even though I was not wanting to listen, about how to take care of my car, because I always had an older car, and so I always needed to know, okay, Dad, I'm on the side of the road, and the thing is in the red, what do I do,
Yeah.
There's smoke coming out of the front, what do I do?
No, literally.
So I think it's cool that, like, yeah, similar to your dad, it's just different that that's what he remembers the most about his teenage years, but I'm like really thankful that those are skills and things that he was learning at that time, because now I feel like I have some of them too.
And fun to think about like your parents being kids too.
Yeah.
Like your dad just being like,
I know, he didn't really say what adventures he had. I'm curious.
Oh, I know. Like, I think that was why that was excluded. I've heard some stories. I'm like, I'm okay. Especially with my aunts. I'm like, y'all got into some shit.
Just rambunctious. I also just think I'm going to sound like a boomer, but I do think it was like such a different time for our parents in terms of like, there were no cell phones. There were no, like, all this technology. No one's filming or caring about what they're doing or wearing. It's literally just, like, this freedom of doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And, like, as long as you're home by nightfall or whatever it is, you know, like, the world is kind of your oyster.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. How did you choose your career? Okay, so both of our parents basically kind of did the same thing, or both of our dads do. So my dad was a Marine basically his whole life, and even now he basically does what he did as a Marine, but as a civilian. But he said, he's like, I wanted to be a Marine since I was around 14. I would always send them one of the fill-in cards, and I would keep them until I was recruited, which is just like so sweet.
What is a fill-in card?
I think it's like remember when they would go, because he started he was enlisted. He didn't go in as an officer. So he like went in and did like South Korea or whatever, and then came back, went to school, and then
became an officer.
Okay. Yes. So it was like when they would go to like recruit at schools or like all that stuff. And I think back in the day they would actually mail them, like you would just get them in your post or what the fuck, mailbox.
I was like, I don't know.
And it's like, from my understanding, it's literally like if this is something like kind of like a marketing, like we'll keep sending you if you're interested, but you have to get to a certain, you know, like you have to be the right age or all of these things. So you just like keep sending them in, I guess. I didn't know that you could do that until he said that. I'm like, oh,
that's cool. He definitely was bought in for a long time.
Yeah.
It's funny because my dad also is out of the military now, and he still does the same thing he did, which, like, clearly they both enjoyed it. I have not found a thing like that I will be doing yet.
Yeah, same. I think he really likes the structure of the military. I think he does really well in that sort of environment, which is like good. I think he really wanted something like that. I also like, I've talked to a few of my like aunts about this, and just like how, because my dad can be like kind of like shy or quiet in some instances, but he has like a really crazy goofy side. And I think like, I always think like, I wonder what if, how do I phrase this? I don't know. Basically, just like, what if you didn't do the military? What would you have done?
Left to your own devices?
Yeah, exactly. If like money wasn't a thing, like what would your career have been?
Yeah,
should have asked that.
Next time. I know there were a lot of questions I was thinking of, but then I was like, at this point, I feel like we should just like, my dad and I should just sit down and
Also, I wasn't ready to like sob my eyes out.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to get a few responses. Like if I came out with some like heavy deep shit, he's gonna be like, I don't know.
What are we doing?
Yeah, just because he probably like doesn't remember, or I'm trying to like pull something.
Yeah, and it's out that's just like not the there, vibe, you know? Right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny you say that about your dad, because my dad is so similar too, in the sense of like, I would consider my dad a bit more like reserved and I guess shy, yeah, like a little bit more introverted, but he says like the funniest things and does the funniest things, and like he's one of those people that like you actually have to like listen to the things he's saying. But even around the house, like if you wonder where I get my singing from, it's him. He's just always like making up songs. And Savannah one year made him a sweatshirt, Catchy Tunes with Clayton, and all of the like songs that he's made up are on the back of the sweatshirt.
Oh my god, I would literally sob.
It's just so funny. I do really love that about him. But I think he also really enjoyed the structure. I think him and I are similar in the sense of I like math. I like numbers because I like that there's an answer. I don't like ambiguity in a lot of things. And when I asked, like, how did you choose your career? He said, I enjoyed math and sciences, even though I wasn't the best at either topic, but I enjoyed the challenge in learning STEM-like information. I also had some great teachers, especially a high school math teacher, and 2 motivational, encouraging, and positive parents who pushed me to go after my dreams, even during obstacles and challenges. With that background as support, I went to college for engineering through the Army ROTC scholarship and was able to combine both engineering and military into great careers.
What?
Yeah, he's a nerd, but so am I.
I love that. Very detailed, very, very like structured, and also, man, the way teachers and mentors can shape children, I will never,
for better or for worse,
for better or for motherfucking worse, and I will just, it'll never stop amazing me on like how literally it's crazy.
I know. If you have like shapes a really good life, teacher, one person,
boom, that's what you do. That's it's crazy.
Yeah, for real.
Or one really, not so good one. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's literally probably why I don't like English that much. No shade to my English teachers, but
oh no, shade thrown, and shade will stay there because no, you fucking suck. It's a horrible people.
Yeah. But I'm glad he had a good one, and that he like was able to enjoy engineering. I remember when we went on like a college tour before I picked where I wanted to go to school. He was like, look at the engineering building over there, and I didn't even like give it the time of day. I was like, no, I'm not going to be an engineer. No, I don't want to do that. No. And like I took like a calculus class my freshman year, and I was like, this is so freaking hard.
Yeah.
I had to like go to tutoring every day because I just didn't understand what was going on. Now that I'm out of it, I'm like, wait, maybe I would have liked that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was like this rewarding thing. Like it was a lot of work, but it was this reward of like, oh, I can get the answer. Mm-hmm. I can figure it out.
I love that. I know my dad went to college, and I'm trying to remember what his degree was in. I want to say like journalism. No, that might have been Thule. Fuck. That sucks that I can't remember. I'm sorry, Dad.
It's okay. At least you know he went to school.
Yeah, he did, and I can't remember, and I'm sure it was useful. Oh, criminal justice.
Oh.
Right?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. That's a good one. Also very just interesting. Was it last... Wait, I don't think that episode has come out yet. I can't remember. Just about career and how many options I feel like we have, like our generation, mm-hmm. and how we're able to choose and kind of have like, I don't know, granted we don't have kids, so I think that kind of like really depends on what you're doing, but it wasn't like, I do feel like there's a sense of having a career, but it's also like I'm more there's a lot more focus on life with the career now, which is great. I think back when our parents were growing up, like career equaled life, and that was like everything. So it's just interesting to kind of put yourself where they were in their thought process of like choosing, and how it started at such a young age with his like engineering and ROTC stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like one thing, we can go into the next question in a second, but like my dad was like, I need to have school paid for, you know? So like this, I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do. Yeah. And I appreciate the like that characteristic of not just like, well, I can't do it because there's no solution. Like he will figure out a way to get something done. Yeah.
Yeah, I think both my parents were pretty like scrappy like that, actually. Mm-hmm. Wish I could say the same for myself.
I would say you are.
Okay, this next one. Were you ever scared to be a parent? Completely deflected this one, Dad. Nice. He goes, my daughters are the best thing to happen to your mom and I, and for that I'm super grateful. I think he was scared to be a parent. I think the fact that based on like the stories and things that I've heard, I think that him and my mom were very, very grateful that they still lived in Florida when they had me, because both of their parents were still there and were able to help out, because I think my dad worked the night shift and then my mom worked the day shift, so there was like, they were kind of like ping pong, and I was kind of like going all around, which is really nice. And I think that I remember there's a story that my family tells that my dad accidentally locked me in his truck once, like just on the way to the grocery store, and the people like telling the story would be like, we're saying like my dad was freaking the fuck out, like holy shit, I just locked my kid in the car, you know. And it's like, it's funny now to like think about, but in the moment, like your first kid, hot as balls, terror, you know what I mean? Back in the day of like, you Florida? Know, oh my god, I think it was in Florida, and it's just like funny to think that he probably closed the door and went like, fuck, like no, my kid is in this car. So
how did he get you out?
I don't know. Probably broke a freaking... Oh, I'm sure. I can only imagine. Yeah. I don't think he waited... My dad is not the wait around for AAA kind of person. Yeah. I think he was just like, no. So I think, you know, there is that, like, fear of that. I also think that when... I'm sure he was scared as well to have, like, multiple children. But I think what is so good about the military is the sense of community, and how, you know, say what you will about the military, but like, man, the camaraderie, and like it really just takes a village. I think knowing that we were always going to be surrounded by people having kids and having this like sense of community within the military made it a little easier for my parents. And besides me, I don't think my dad was there for any of... Oh, no, I think he missed Sophia's birth, and he was there for Isabella's, I think, based on, like, you know, when he was deployed and stuff. So, Yeah, I would say he was probably scared.
Yeah. If we're reading between the lines,
yeah, on that one, I would say.
My dad said he was scared, nervous, and apprehensive to be a parent, but also excited, motivated, and grateful. It's a big responsibility to provide for, raise, and support a family, but wouldn't have it any other way. Dang it!
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, we talk about it a lot of like, we're 30 years old, and I'm like, I can't imagine having a child running around right now. What are you doing? Literally.
I'm scared.
And like, he had 5, and I'm like, oh, I can't afford to go out for the 3rd night this week. You know, it's like, I just different worlds. You know, just different lives, and like, obviously, I'm so thankful that like, he did what he could so that we could have a good life. And I can't imagine the stress that would be, to have all these little humans being like, where's dinner? When can I go to swim practice? You know, like all the stuff that I just did. And obviously that was paid for by the work that he was doing. And yeah. Crazy.
So crazy. Yeah. Also just like, I don't subscribe to that, and I'm really trying to break that thought, but just like growing up in a household where the dad is the provider and you see the stress, that's not to say that like our moms didn't do anything, because that is a secret side of stress and protector and provider in a whole other sense. But just like, I can't even imagine just like the social, like, I know being a woman is so difficult in today's society. Like, it is really difficult for guys. And, like, and if you, for men, and when you have a family now, all of a sudden, it's like, especially in the military, it's like things are provided, but then not only are that, but it's like, I may not even be here to do that. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine the, like, feeling and, like, the weight on their shoulders for something like that too. Plus, I forget that you have so many siblings. I'm like, there are so many of you.
There were a lot of people living at your house too.
I know. Yeah, there were. I mean, we really did have max capacity of the household there. But yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, and I don't think they would too. So, okay, this one's gonna get me for sure. The last one that we asked our dads was, what is something that you're proud of? And he gave me 2, and the first one is just like so funny. He goes, I'm proud of my service to our country, something I want you and your sisters to never forget, especially all the sacrifices you guys made with your mom. And then the last thing he said was, hold on. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm grateful for my parents and all they did and the amount of work they did to give us what they could, especially food and getting us to school. And it's just, man, I just love my grandparents so much, and I'm sad that they're not here. But it is really, really beautiful that I can see my parents and my dad look back and be so appreciative, because I hope that they feel that same way, that like, I was a fucking nightmare of a child. I really was, and I'm so sorry. And even now I probably call it like the most inconvenient thing. So, and they're still always there. So I hope that they feel like I sense this, and all of my like older like family members, like I sense their love and their gratitude towards what they were given, even though it wasn't a lot. They understood that, and I hope that my dad feels the same way for me and my sisters. And you know, there's a part of me that I don't talk about it a lot, because I think my relationship with the military has changed overall, and I've always felt like kind of selfish talking about it sometimes. But it is really nice to know that my dad remembers and acknowledges the amount of like sacrifices that me and Sophia and Isabella and Anais and even Tuli and my mom had to make on the account of his career. And like, it sounds so cliche, but like saving the country, like I know that, I get it, political, like I have my own thoughts, but like at the end of the day, that's what I thought That's what I knew that he was doing. And so I'm glad that he is proud that he had like a family supporting him through like what I could only imagine was probably the most traumatic time of his life. So anyway,
I can't comment on it or I will start sobbing.
Yeah.
I also think like I'm really glad we did this because like I'm grateful for the podcast because I would not be asking my dad these random questions.
So true.
If we weren't doing this.
So true.
And it's like, it just makes me feel grateful and love, like the love that I have for him even greater. Okay. I'll try to do mine. What's something you're proud of? He said, proud and grateful for many things, but but I can't say that because I'm gonna cry. It's funny, my dad's first one is very similar. Sacrifice of my ancestors to ultimately allow me to be born in this phenomenal country. Ooh. The opportunity to serve this great country while being in the military. My family, especially my kids, siblings, and parents. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't know if you know our dads, but this is an emotional time.
Really hard.
And then a mom who consistently took her kids to church so that I could finally realize who I am, what I should be doing, and how to better serve and work with others. And it's like, I'm grateful. Speaking of memories, like, my dad's parents both passed away when I was, like, very young. But I am really glad that I remember I have memories with his mom, my grandma. I don't really remember his dad, my grandpa, but, like, whew.
Yeah.
It's like every generation you hope has it better than you had it. And I know that that's, like, my grandparents had a really freaking hard life. It's, like, actually crazy. I can't imagine living their life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I would do. And then, like, hearing the stories that my dad talks about his upbringing, it's just, like, so different than mine. And, like, he instilled, like, the best parts of his childhood and his upbringing into my upbringing. And it's, like, yeah, the things that I could complain or, like, gripe about are so dumb, like, from my childhood. And it's, like, wow, how lucky was I that I got to be a brat, you know, about, like, dumb things. And I wasn't, like, oh, when are we gonna, like, eat? Or, you know, what are we gonna eat? Or, like, how am I gonna get to school? Or I want to play this sport and, like, I need to figure out a way to do it. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for both my parents, but especially my dad, talking about, like, all of this and what he did to get me here to where I can sit in kitchen and bullshit with my friend living in San Diego. And, you know, crazy. Yeah, I cannot talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's tough, but it is beautiful, and I'm sure that, like, you guys listening can relate with your fathers, and probably for our siblings tuning in, this is probably emotional because you're probably like, well, that's my dad. Yeah, I can only imagine. I know that we've talked about it a little bit on the podcast on, like, whether or not we want to have kids, and if that's something that either of us can decide to, like, the path that we go down. I can only imagine how closer that will bring you, like, or bring us to, like, our parents, because it, like, puts us in that, like, feeling. And, you know, my frontal lobe is developed, so I can understand a little bit of just, like, what it is to, like, raise a family and be the protector and provider and all that shit. But it's also like, I don't know, it's really nice too that in his older age, and I think that you can relate with your dad too, but, like, in his older age, I find that my dad is getting a little softer and able to, like, recount some memories and share things that maybe he just wouldn't have in his past. Not that they weren't there, but just because it wasn't, just that more just like freaking whatever stubborn bull energy.
Yeah.
And so to be able to like have something like this podcast to kind of like really bring that out was really nice, and got to like hear more stories. So
yeah.
I love you, Dad.
I love you, Dad, too.
That was hard. It's like so hard to even like speak.
I know.
But...
yeah. If you don't have a podcast and your dad's still around, I would recommend to ask some questions.
Yeah.
I know my sister got my dad like a journal or something that's like, I don't know if you've seen those ads before, but it's like the questions that your parents can like write down stories from like their childhood or whatever. I'm excited to read that one day, but it's also like, I want to know these stories and these things before I'm like, oh, this was my dad, I want to learn about it now.
Yeah,
so
same.
I'm glad we got to have these questions, and I'm excited to spend more time with him soon for my sister's wedding. But yeah, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you had a good Father's Day. If your dad's not in your life, that's okay. I hope you have had fun celebrating with people you love. We love you guys. Polite as Fuck Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.